After 60, these are 6 meats you should eat, and 6 you should absolutely never put on your plate. If you're in your 60s, you might be making a dangerous mistake, right in the middle of what you think is a healthy meal. Just last week, I met again with Mr. James, a 67-year-old patient I've been seeing for over 5 years. He's the kind of patient every doctor hopes for. Never smoked, doesn't drink, goes to bed early, walks every morning, and always watches what he eats. But this time he looked tired. He sat down, looked at me, and said, "Doc, I don't get it. I eat clean, no red meat, no fat, just chicken breast, steamed fish. But I feel like I'm getting weaker every day, like my body's aging faster than I am." I didn't answer right away. Instead, I asked him, "Have you ever thought that maybe? It's not that you eat meat, but what kind of meat you choose that's silently wearing you down." He looked surprised, and I know if you're watching this, you might be feeling the same way right now. Let me paint a picture for you. You've worked hard your whole life. You hit retirement and start taking your health seriously. You follow all the usual advice, eat white meat, avoid fat, skip the fried stuff, and you stick to it. But a few years go by, and you still feel your muscles getting weaker, your memory foggier, your joints stiffer. Climbing stairs feels harder than it used to, and deep down you start to wonder, did I do something wrong without even knowing it? Here's the truth. After 60, your body no longer processes meat the same way it did in your 30s or 40s. According to Harvard Medical School, your ability to absorb vitamin B12, metabolize fat, rebuild tissue, and maintain muscle mass starts to decline significantly after 60. And Mayo Clinic warns that high inflammation meats, especially processed meats, deep-fried meats, or meats cooked at high temperatures, can trigger chronic inflammation, a key factor behind heart disease, cognitive decline, and even memory loss. You won't feel it right away. But day by day, that seemingly healthy meat may be leaving its mark in your blood vessels, your joints, even your brain. I remember one study from Cleveland Clinic that followed over 1,500 seniors for 8 years. They found that people who regularly ate meats cooked at high heat, like deep-fried or charred meats, had 47% higher levels of C-reactive protein, CRP, a key marker of inflammation. And high CRP is directly linked to stroke, cardiovascular disease, and dementia. You may not see it, but your body remembers. Every piece of meat, if it's the wrong kind, is like a small scratch, over and over again until one day it becomes a wound you can't reverse. Now, as a doctor, I never tell my patients to stop eating meat completely. But after working with thousands of people over 60, I've learned one thing: not all meats are created equal. And sometimes the so-called clean meats are the ones draining your strength the fastest. The problem isn't just the meat itself. It's which meat you're choosing, how you're cooking it, and whether it's helping you heal or quietly hurting you. So here's what I want you to remember. Not all meat is bad, but not all meat is good either, especially after 60. We need to relearn how to eat meat wisely, intentionally, and in a way that fits our aging bodies. In the next part, I'll share with you the 6 meats you should stay away from, even if they're labeled lean or high protein, and the 6 meats that could be your best allies for brain health, heart health, and strong joints. I won't give you trendy advice. I won't speak from opinion. I'll speak from what I've seen in the clinic, in lab reports, and in the real lives of people who lived longer, simply by eating smarter. And if you're still here with me, I believe you're ready to take a new look at your relationship with meat and your health. I'll see you in the next part. Not all meats are created equal, and the consequences don't show up right away. When Mr. James asked me if he might be eating the wrong kind of meat, I didn't answer right away. Instead, I pulled out his latest lab results. His inflammation markers, slightly elevated, vitamin B12, below optimal, creatinine, just a bit high, a signal that his kidneys might be working overtime. And most concerning of all, his muscle mass was declining faster than normal for someone at 67. He looked at me confused. "But I haven't done anything wrong. I don't eat bacon or sausage. Just skinless chicken, grilled fish, some lean cuts, only a few times a week." He was right on paper. But what he didn't realize is this: not all meat is the same. And just because it looks lean doesn't mean it's harmless. Food today isn't like what our parents grew up with. Most packaged meats at the grocery store, even if they look fresh, have been treated in ways that most people don't even notice. Added phosphates, water retention agents, artificial colorings, and sodium levels far beyond the recommended daily limit. What most people don't know is that these so-called clean meats, especially when cooked at high temperatures, like grilled over open flame or deep fried, can form harmful compounds you'll never see with the naked eye. According to research from Harvard Medical School, when meat is cooked above 300 degrees F, about 150 degrees C, the proteins in it start to break down and react with sugars and fats to form advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These AGEs don't poison you immediately, but over time, repeated exposure can break down elasticity in your cells, harden blood vessels, accelerate skin aging, and inflame your joints. The National Cancer Institute also found that high-temperature cooking methods, like charring or deep frying, lead to the creation of heterocyclic amines, HCAs, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs, both of which are considered likely carcinogens. And here's the thing, you won't feel the damage from a single meal. Nobody has a heart attack right after eating one piece of overcooked meat. But day after day, year after year, the effects stack up. And that's the real danger. I had another patient named Helen, age 72. She lived alone, very tidy, very routine. Her meals? Nothing extreme. Some frozen breaded fish, a few slices of store-bought rotisserie chicken, and a scoop of mixed greens. No fast food, no deep-fried takeout. On the surface, it looked fine. But Helen often complained of fatigue, memory issues, and bone aches whenever the weather changed. So we ran tests and found signs of chronic, low-grade inflammation, along with signs of declining bone density. Only then did she mention, "I always thought as long as I avoided sausage or red meat, I'd be okay. But I do bake my fish at high heat every day. I like it crispy." And that's what so many people over 60 are doing, with good intentions, but not enough information. The truth is, after 60, your body simply doesn't recover from inflammatory triggers like it used to. Things you could digest and detoxify in your 30s and 40s. Now they build up in your tissue, your blood vessels, your joints, little by little. Your body becomes more sensitive to things like preservatives, even if they're approved; reused cooking oil, even if it doesn't look burnt; lightly charred meat, even if it's just a little crispy; hidden sodium and phosphates in processed meats, even when you can't see them. So here's what I told Mr. James, and now I'm telling you, not every piece of meat is good protein. And just because it's lean, white, or labeled clean doesn't mean it's helping your health. It all comes down to three things: what kind of meat you eat, how it's cooked, how often you're eating it. Choose wrong and the damage won't show up tomorrow, but it will knock on your door slowly and surely. We'll dive deeper in the next part. I'll walk you through the 6 types of meat that many Americans over 60 are eating too often, and why they're silently causing harm. Then, the 6 meats that aren't expensive or hard to find, but may act like natural medicine for your heart, memory, and joints. If you care about eating meat in a way that keeps you strong, sharp, and independent as you age, don't go anywhere. Because what's coming next will help you see your plate with clearer eyes than ever before. 6 meats that are quietly sending seniors closer to the hospital, one meal at a time. When I told Mr. James that the meats he thought were healthy might actually be silently harming him, he looked at me puzzled. "So you're saying I'm eating the wrong way, but I don't eat sausage or burgers?" I nodded. "Yes, but the things that hurt us the most aren't always the obvious ones. They're often the foods we never question, the ones we eat every day thinking they're safe." So if you're here watching this, I want to walk you through 6 types of meat that are common in the diets of Americans over 60, and why they may be slowly pushing you toward medications, hospital visits, and sometimes even surgery. Crossmark 1, smoked meats, the scent of nostalgia with hidden dangers. I get it, there's something comforting about the smell of crispy bacon in the morning. It brings back memories, stimulates appetite, but it also triggers inflammation in your body. According to the American Institute for Cancer Research, smoked meats contain PAHs, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, and nitrosamines, both linked to colon, lung, and liver cancers. On top of that, traditional smoking methods rarely control salt levels. Just one serving of smoked meat can pack 200 mg of sodium, almost half your recommended daily intake if you're over 60. Crossmark 2, deep-fried meats crispy on the outside but damaging from the inside. A 70-year-old patient once told me, "I only eat a few chicken wings now and then. I use an air fryer, doctor." But no matter how you fry it, if you're heating oil to high temperatures and coating meat in batter, you're triggering the formation of AGEs, advanced glycation end products. According to Harvard Health, ages damage collagen, stiffen tissue, and accelerate aging in your blood vessels, joints, and skin. For seniors, this is especially harmful as your ability to repair cells declines with age. Crossmark 3. Charred grilled meats tempting on the outside, toxic on the inside. You've probably heard that irresistible sizzle of a steak hitting a hot grill. Sounds amazing, right? But that sizzle means danger. When meat is grilled to a char, it forms heterocyclic amines, HCAs. Compounds that, according to the National Cancer Institute, are linked to DNA damage. These mutations may not show up immediately, but they accumulate year after year until they potentially trigger cancer. Crossmark 4. Frozen nuggets, breaded fish, and processed meat snacks, fast, easy, but costly down the line. You might be thinking, I don't eat fast food. I just buy frozen nuggets or breaded fish from the store and pop them in the oven. But here's what Cleveland Clinic found. Many frozen meat-based products contain trans fats, artificial fats banned in many countries, phosphates harmful to blood vessels when they build up, flavor enhancers, preservatives, and excessive sodium. That convenient bite today could become a long-term burden on your kidneys, heart, and arteries tomorrow. Crossmark 5. Southern-style cured pork, cultural comfort with a hidden price. If you've lived in the southern U.S., you've probably enjoyed country ham, fatback, or smoked pork belly. Tasty, nostalgic, but risky. Just one serving of country ham can have 600 mg of sodium and 80 mg of cholesterol, far beyond the safe zone for those with heart issues or high blood pressure. According to the CDC, older adults who regularly consume cured meats are 40% more likely to suffer strokes than those who limit their salt intake. Crossmark 6. Fatty lamb, not all red meat is created equal. Here's something most people don't know. Lamb, especially ribs and leg cuts, can have more saturated fat than beef. Cleveland Clinic warns that this type of fat raises LDL, bad cholesterol, thickens your artery walls, and increases your risk of heart attacks. Some seniors switch to lamb thinking it's healthier than beef. But regular, unmoderated intake can lead to joint inflammation, high uric acid, and gout. So, you see, the problem isn't that you lack discipline. The problem is no one warned you. These meats won't harm you overnight, but day by day they chip away at your immunity, your arteries, your brain, your muscles, quietly, invisibly. I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you this to wake you up. In the next part, we won't talk about cutting meat out. We'll talk about how to choose meat wisely, because believe it or not, some types of meat can actually be like medicine for the body after 60. The right meats can reduce inflammation, sharpen your memory, support muscle strength, and even protect your bones, all without a single pill. Stick with me, we're about to explore the 6 meats that older adults should be eating regularly, and why they make such a difference. Your body doesn't need to quit meat, it just needs smarter meat. I get it. After hearing the last part, you might feel a little overwhelmed. Maybe you're thinking, so now what? If everything is bad for me, what am I supposed to eat? I've eaten meat my whole life. Am I supposed to just give it up? Trust me, I completely understand. I've worked with older adults for over 20 years, and I've never told anyone to give up meat entirely. I'm not anti-meat. I'm just anti the wrong kind of meat. Here's the truth. Your body doesn't need to give up protein. In fact, after 60, you need more protein than ever. But the issue isn't quantity, it's quality. According to Harvard Health Publishing, if you're still eating the same type and amount of meat you did in your 30s or 40s, but it's the wrong type, or it's cooked the wrong way, your body might absorb very little of the benefit and end up carrying most of the damage. Let me put it this way. Imagine someone taking blood pressure medication. They take it every day right on time, but then they drink a glass of salty water with it or eat a meat dish with over 1,000 mg of sodium. Is that medication still going to work the way it's supposed to? It's the same with protein. You could eat meat every day thinking you're feeding your body what it needs, but if that meat was cooked at excessively high temperatures, packed with saturated fat, or loaded with phosphate preservatives and additives, then what's going into your body isn't nourishment. It's a slow-acting stressor on your tissues, blood vessels, bones, and immune system. One study from Cleveland Clinic found that adults over 60 who consumed the right kind of protein, cooked the right way, were able to maintain up to 40% more muscle mass than those who ate meat daily but chose the wrong sources. So what exactly is smart meat? It's meat that is naturally nutrient-rich, not artificially enhanced, low in saturated fat, minimally processed, and cooked gently at moderate temperatures to preserve protein integrity. I once had a patient named Olivia, 69 years old. She was struggling with serious muscle loss after a hip replacement surgery. We shifted her diet to include gentler proteins. Sardines, free-range chicken, and skinless duck breast, all steamed or lightly oven-baked. After 12 weeks, not only did her blood work improve, but she told me something I'll never forget. I don't feel like I'm on a diet. I feel like my body is finally being cared for from the inside. See, after 60, a good quality of life doesn't come from eating less. It comes from eating right. You don't have to give up meat. You just need to shift from meat that harms to meat that heals. And in the next part, I'll walk you through 6 types of meat that deserve a spot in the kitchen of every adult over 60. They're not expensive. They're not hard to find. But if you include them regularly in your meals, they can help reduce inflammation, boost memory, protect your joints, and support a longer, healthier life with no supplements needed. If you're ready to make a change, not by giving things up, but by choosing differently. Stay with me for the next part. 6 types of meat that help you stay strong and sharp after 60. 6 types of meat that help you stay sharp and strong after 60. When I told Olivia, the patient I mentioned earlier, that she didn't have to give up meat, she gave a relieved smile like a weight had been lifted. But when I handed her the list of meats she should eat, she looked surprised. "Doctor, these are so simple, not expensive, not exotic." I nodded. That's the point. What's truly good for your body isn't always what's loudest in commercials. It's what actually works with the way your body is changing. Here are 6 types of meat I regularly recommend for people over 60. You don't need to eat a lot, just regularly, and cook them right. They'll quietly support your health every single day. 1. Sardines, small, but a powerhouse for your heart and bones. No one expects much from a tiny canned fish. But sardines, especially the kind packed in extra virgin olive oil, are nature's little multivitamins. According to Cleveland Clinic, sardines are rich in natural omega-3s to lower inflammation, steady your heartbeat, and sharpen memory. Calcium from soft bones, easier to absorb than milk, great for bone strength. Vitamin D and CoQ10 supports heart function and cellular energy. What I love most, they're affordable, convenient, and require no cooking. Just add to a salad, mix with greens and lemon, and you've got a powerful, brain-friendly lunch. 2. Free-range chicken, real white meat, without hidden chemicals. You've probably heard, white meat is better than red. But the source matters. Harvard Health recommends free-range chicken over factory-farmed poultry. Why? Naturally raised chickens have less saturated fat and aren't pumped with hormones or antibiotics. Higher in vitamin B6 and niacin, key for brain health and energy metabolism. Easier to digest, gentle on aging stomachs. One of my patients swapped red meat for steamed free-range chicken, breast with ginger and scallions 3 times a week. 2 months later, her blood pressure improved and her joints hurt less. 3 cod, gentle, clean, and full of B12. If you often feel bloated after grilled meats or fried fish, give cod a try. This light, flaky white fish is easy on digestion and packed with B12, iodine, and selenium. NIH says cod is perfect for seniors because it's mild in taste and smell, perfect steamed, baked, or with a light lemon sauce. It helps replenish B12, a nutrient nearly 40% of people over 60 are deficient in, which affects memory, mood, and nerve function. It's low-calorie, high-protein, great if you're managing diabetes or weight. 4. Skinless duck breast, blood builder and energy restorer. Some people say duck is too fatty and heavy. That's true if you eat the thick skin. But skinless duck breast, when cooked right, is a lean source of protein loaded with iron, zinc, and B vitamins. According to Mayo Clinic, skinless duck provides easily absorbed heme iron, great for energy and red blood cell production. Choline and B-complex supports nerve health and liver function, especially helpful for postmenopausal women or those with low blood pressure. I often recommend steaming it with ginger or oven roasting with herbs. Clean, nourishing, and easy on the body. 5. Rabbit, low-fat, high-protein, and easy to chew. Most people skip rabbit because they think it's hard to find or cook. But in parts of Europe and in states like Kentucky, rabbit is considered one of the cleanest, least inflammatory meats. According to USDA, rabbit offers nearly 29 g of protein per 100 g more than chicken. Low cholesterol and sodium, won't cause fluid retention. Tender texture, ideal for those with dental issues. Cook it simply with veggies, or slow simmer with turmeric and black pepper for a meal that heals. 6. Arctic char, a cleaner cousin of salmon. You've probably heard salmon is great for you, but hard to find wild-caught. Arctic char is an excellent alternative. Healthline notes Arctic char as just as rich in omega-3s as salmon, but less likely to be industrially farmed. Low in mercury, gentle on digestion, and not fishy. Packed with vitamin D, B12, and selenium. Good for bones, heart, and brain. I often suggest baking it with lemon, rosemary, and a dash of olive oil, light, clean, and deeply nourishing. The wrong way to cook meat. It can turn your best efforts into smoke. I once told a patient this after reviewing her meal plan. You've made great choices. Sardines, free-range chicken, cod, even Arctic char, all excellent. But unfortunately, the way you're cooking them is turning them from healing foods into inflammation triggers. She looked surprised. But I only steam my fish, doctor. Just a little oil, some soy sauce, and I crank the heat high to get it done faster. I smiled. It's the high heat that's the real problem. A lot of us believe that picking the right meat is all we need to do. But the truth is, how you cook it, the temperature, the oil, the timing, matters even more. That's what determines whether your food becomes medicine, or a burden on your liver, kidneys, and blood vessels. According to Harvard Medical School, cooking meat at excessively high temperatures especially, grilling directly over flames, deep frying, pan-searing until crispy, reheating leftovers multiple times, can create dangerous compounds known as AGEs, advanced glycation end products, and HCAs, heterocyclic amines. So what are AGEs? They're byproducts that form when the proteins in meat mix with sugars and fats under high heat. They don't just age your skin, they stiffen your blood vessels, increase inflammation, and harm your brain, kidneys, and heart. And HCAs? According to the National Cancer Institute, HCAs form when meat gets charred. These compounds can damage your DNA, which is why eating burnt meat regularly is linked to colon, pancreatic, and liver cancers. Look, I get it. That smoky char smell, it reminds us of backyard barbecues, holidays, the sizzle of steak on the grill. But let's be honest, your body at 65 or 70 doesn't handle it like it did at 35. Your liver is slower. Your kidneys are more sensitive. Your immune system gets tricked more easily. And what used to be just a little indulgence can now quietly become a trigger for high blood pressure, aching joints, and fading memory. Here's the good news. You don't need to eat bland, boring food. You can still enjoy flavorful meat. You just need to change the how. Here are the cooking methods I recommend for folks over 60. Light steaming with ginger, scallions, fresh lemon, preserves protein structure, easy to digest, toxin-free. Oven baking at moderate temps, 350 degrees F, 375 degrees F. Skip the charring, wrap in foil to keep moisture and lower direct heat damage. Quick pan-searing with olive or avocado oil, medium heat. Stop while the meat is still tender. Keeps the nutrients without forming HCAs. Slow simmering or stewing with anti-inflammatory herbs like turmeric, black pepper, garlic, or rosemary. Adds flavor and healing power. One more thing, avoid bottled marinades or commercial sauces. They often contain refined sugar, phosphate additives, MSG, and a bunch of ingredients you probably can't even pronounce. Instead, just stick to a simple combo. Pink salt, black pepper, lemon juice, olive oil, and a few fresh herbs. That's all it takes to make your meal fragrant and still body-friendly. I'll never forget an older couple from Minnesota. They had grilled meat every weekend for 40 years. But after the husband ended up in the ER with clogged arteries, they made a decision. Don't give up the joy of food, just change how it's prepared. They bought an electric steamer, switched to foil-baked fish, and used fresh herbs instead of sugary sauces. And 6 months later, his cardiologist reduced his blood pressure meds, something they never thought possible. Choosing the right meat is step one, but cooking it right, that's the real art of staying healthy after 60. Your body deserves that level of care, and every cell in you deserves to be protected by your own hands in your own kitchen. Coming up next, I'll share the real-life story of one of my patients who turned his health around completely by simply changing his meat choices and the way he cooked them. He regained memory, reduced inflammation, and felt more mentally sharp than he had in years. A patient changed his meat and changed his entire health story. If you've ever felt like you're doing everything right, but your body just isn't responding, trust me, you're not alone. I've worked with hundreds of patients in the same boat. They eat clean, take their medications, do light exercise. Yet their blood pressure stays high, Their memory keeps fading, their joints still ache, and their sleep keeps getting shorter. Today, I want to share the story of Mr. Howard, 73 years old, from Arizona. A textbook post-war generation man, disciplined, hardworking, and committed to doing things by the book ever since his military days. But after 70, his body started betraying those rules he'd lived by. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I stay away from fried food. I walk 4 times a week, but doc, I'm exhausted. I'm losing muscle. My brain feels foggy. I wake up more tired than when I went to bed. That's what he told me with tired eyes and heavy shoulders, so I asked him to walk me through his daily meals. Breakfast, cold cuts and eggs. Lunch, a sandwich with processed chicken and a glass of boxed fruit juice. Dinner, a burger made with store-bought ground beef, fried in vegetable oil with roasted potatoes. No sweets, no added sugar, it all sounded fine on paper. But I immediately saw the problem. The issue wasn't quantity, it was the quality of the meat and how it was being cooked. So I suggested a new plan. He didn't need to eat less, just change 3 things. 1, switch the meat. Replace ground beef with canned sardines and olive oil, swap cold cuts for steamed chicken breast made at home, and trade burgers for oven-baked cod. 2, change the cooking method. No frying, no charring. Instead, gently steam, oven roast at low temps, or simmer with turmeric and black pepper. 3, listen to his body. After each meal, he'd write down how he felt. Was he bloated? More alert? Did he sleep better? 6 weeks later, both of us were surprised by the results. He dropped a little weight without trying. His inflammation marker, CRP, dropped by 32%. Liver function improved significantly. His memory got better. He told me he could remember his granddaughter's name again after just 3 weeks. And the biggest win? For the first time in 3 years, he slept through the night for 6 full hours without waking up. When I asked how he felt, he looked at me and said something I'll never forget. I feel like I came back to life, not just surviving, actually living. Howard's story isn't a miracle. It's proof of something simple, something we often forget. Food doesn't just feed your body, it directs it. It instructs your cells. And when you change the food, you change the way your body behaves. My friend, I'm not asking you to change everything overnight. All I hope is that you do what Howard did. Start with 1 different piece of meat. Cook it in a different way. Make 1 different choice. Because after 60, every small change is a big step toward hope. And every smart choice is a way to love yourself more. In the next part, I'll wrap up everything we've explored and open the door to what comes next. How to combine meats, vegetables, and healthy fats into a lifelong strategy for staying strong, clear, and vibrant. The choices you make today shape the life you'll live tomorrow. My friend, we've just taken quite a journey together. And it wasn't just about meat. It was about how you treat the body you live in every single day. You've heard me talk about the meats you should walk away from if you want to reduce inflammation, protect your heart, and keep your mind sharp. The meats you should welcome onto your plate to maintain muscle, slow aging, and boost memory. And maybe most importantly, how you cook them, because even the right food, cooked the wrong way, can lose its power in a puff of smoke. We also walked through the story of Mr. Howard, a man who went from fatigue and brain fog to clarity and vitality with just a few smart, simple shifts in his eating habits. Now let me ask you, did you see a part of yourself in that story? Have you ever found yourself wondering, I'm doing everything right, so why do I still feel weak, restless, and worn down? If so, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not alone. And more importantly, you can start over. Starting today, pick just 1 change from what we've covered. That's all it takes to begin. Swap the processed ground meat for quality canned sardines. Replace that char-grilled steak with steamed cod and fresh ginger. Or simply take an afternoon, sit with your weekly meal plan and ask, is this how I want to care for my body, or is it just an old habit on repeat? Now imagine this. You wake up one morning, no more aching knees. You stand up without holding on to anything. You walk into the kitchen, clear-headed, energized, and ready to take on your day. You remember yesterday's appointments. You tell a story with no hesitation. You feel alive, not just surviving. And if all of that is possible with just a few small changes, why not start now? Don't wait until change is forced on you. Make the change while it's still your choice. I'm genuinely proud of you for watching this video all the way to the end. Not everyone takes their health as seriously as you are right now. And I believe that this care, this attention, is the most powerful gift you can give yourself and those who love you. I know you can do this, and I'll be right here walking this journey with you. Thank you for spending your valuable time with me today. If you found this video helpful, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future health stories and science-backed tips from the Vigor Without Age channel. This is a space where we learn to live stronger, more meaningful lives, no matter our age. Drop a comment below. What part of today's video resonated most with you? What change are you ready to start with? Or if you're open, share a bit of your own health journey. My team and I read every word you write. I wish you strength, peace, happiness, and all the good fortune this life has to offer. And remember, if you're experiencing unusual symptoms, please speak with your doctor. Knowledge only becomes powerful when it's applied to you. For you, take good care of yourself, because aging doesn't mean fading. It can be the most vibrant chapter of your life if you choose it, starting now.